The first generation BMW X3, coded E83, was first shown to the world at the Frankfurt Motor Show in September 2003, after a concept labelled X Activity was revealed at the Detroit Motor Show earlier that year. Unlike the larger BMW X5 that had been designed with a crossover to the L322 designation Range Rover, the X3 was closer aligned to other BMW models, with a rear axle shared with the all-wheel drive variant of the 3 Series. Early media reports were overall positive for the X3 model, and in 2005 the Canadian Automotive Journalists Association crowned it the best SUV of the year. A year later, the X3 was facelifted with a change to the front and rear design of the lights and mild styling changes throughout. For those that want an SUV but prefer a manual gearbox, the X3 was a welcome sight as the E83 generation sold well with a manual, unlike the larger X5, which was rare to see. European buyers commonly opted for a 4-cylinder diesel, with a good number of 3-litre 6-cylinder diesels also selling well. In the rest of the world, the petrol 6-cylinder engines were preferred, and the 4-cylinder petrol was largely ignored by new car buyers in the markets it was sold in. Production of the E83 X3 ceased in early 2010 to make way for the F25 generation X3 that was considerably larger in size, so much so that it closer rivaled the first generation BMW X5 in its dimensions. It should be noted that early production vehicles differ from those in 2005. It appears BMW listened to early customer feedback and criticisms and decided to do a mild update for the 2005 model year cars rather than wait until the official facelift of 2006 onwards. Early cars fitted with Bluetooth connectivity rarely worked until 2005 production models, and BMW changed the carpeting in 2005 onwards to match the leather ordered unless terracotta was specified, rather than ship all cars with the grey carpet as they had done for the 2004 model year. There was also some software updates and navigation updates made, but these will likely make little difference to the used buyer of today. 2005 also added the popular 2-litre diesel engine. Sadly for the X3, it largely lived in the shadow of the first generation X5, despite proving itself as a good small SUV. Sales figures were strong, but as the first generation X5 gave way to the second generation in 2007, the E83 X3 wasn't quite ever able to assert itself as a top seller for the brand, with the popular 3 Series X-Drive snatching sales away from customers that required all-wheel drive but weren't tempted into an SUV, or as BMW termed it, SAV. Those that bought one were content and happy that the smaller X3 offered the cold weather capability and stability they required, whilst also fitting into smaller parking spaces. Smaller European cities and older parts of the USA and Canada appeared to appreciate this, and as cars have got wider, longer and bulkier in the frame, many first generation X3 owners in cold climates continue to hold on to their cars for this reason. So should you buy one? First, you'll want to make sure that any recall work has been done, and fortunately the X3 had few. Critically, a recall on the Takata airbags was announced in June 2018, and it's believed to affect vehicles built from 2004 to 2007. The good news is that the original airbag was a Petri model, and so the vast majority of X3s are in no danger of the Takata fault. However, replacement airbags fitted during service work or due to airbag lights, and in the event of a vehicle was repaired after an airbag was deployed, are Takata models. Check the service history and ask an owner if the vehicle has ever had the factory airbag replaced at a BMW service centre. BMW dealers should have a record of this work if it has ever been carried out. If looking from a late model from 2009 onwards fitted with a 6-cylinder engine, then check for a recall to repair leaking Vanos units. The housing was reported to come loose, creating a leak, and will go into limp home mode as the Vanos unit can then become unable to adjust as required, resulting in operation outside of the specified factory limits. 2 separate recalls were made for the late diesel models from 2008 onwards. Both were due to water ingress into the fuel filter heater housing, allowing water to reach electronic contact points, resulting in short circuits and a possible fire. The fuel filter housing only operates at a temperature of -1 Celsius, and so is not believed to cause issues above this temperature, and vehicle fires were very rare. But it is worth checking to see if the vehicle has had this recall work carried out. It would have likely occurred during main dealer servicing in the first 5 years of the vehicle's life. Finally, a technical service bulletin was issued for squeaks or high-pitched noise coming from the steering when turning from left to right. The affected vehicles were manufactured until August 2006 and were corrected by applying Lubrizol to the power steering fluid to better lubricate the pinion shaft seal. Next up are the common faults to look out for. Our lists are non-exhaustive, and so if you miss anything you believe is a common issue, please add it in the comments below. Transmission fluid leaks can occur and will likely be from the selector shaft seal. This can sometimes be misdiagnosed as a leak caused by a failure of the gasket around the gearbox oil pan. A check engine light on early models was commonly caused by problems with ignition coils. These will likely have been replaced with updated Bosch units and used examples by now, but it is a good place to check first if getting a reoccurring warning. If you find the original BMW ignition coils, the resolution is usually to fit Bosch units. Transmissions that enter fail-safe mode on reoccurring occasions may require a software update or to be reprogrammed. If suffering a low or flat battery after a couple of days without use, the body control module may have failed. A reconditioned or working used module should resolve the issue, although you'll need to check the battery is still in good condition. Whilst exiting an underground car park or a tunnel that has turned on the automatic headlights, they may remain on when you return out into the daylight due to a failure of either the sensor, the module, or a communication signal between them. Any manual gearbox equipped vehicles should have a clutch that returns with good pressure. If it is beginning to feel weak or you feel an unbalanced shake at idle, the dual mass flywheel is likely beginning to fail. If you hear a droning noise on test drive, then the flexi pipe in the exhaust system has likely failed. Fortunately, BMW designed an updated part that is much lower risk of failure, and so if you hear a droning noise, it is likely the X3 you're looking at still has all of its original exhaust components. Next up are the motors, and a quick reminder to like and share the video if you find it helpful. First up, we'll cover the diesel engines and start with the popular 2-litre diesel model, which begins with the M47 from 2005 to 2007 and then switch to the N47 from 2007 onwards. Most X3s fitted with this motor are badged 2-litre diesel or 20D. However, an 18D was also sold from 2009. Power ranges from 148 brake horsepower in the early M47 2-litre D and then increases to 174 brake horsepower in the 20D, with the 18D offering 148 brake horsepower. Fuel economy ranges from 39 miles per gallon in early models to 45 miles per gallon in later models. That's 7.24 to 6.28 litres per 100 kilometres. The earlier M47 motor is older tech and had been with BMW for some time when it was slotted into the X3. Two areas to look out for are the engine breather pipe and swirl flaps. Turbo failure is one of the common high-cost bills that these engines face as they age, so if you find one with a replacement or reconditioned turbo, take it as a positive buying sign. The newer N47 is well known in the BMW community, and although it is powerful, efficient and durable, it is best known for timing chain failure and a large bill attached to replacing it. If you find one with this replaced, then this is one large bill less to worry about. Although dual mass flywheel, turbocharger and DPF units are all well documented as potential failure points, faulty EGR cooler units are also well documented. On the plus side, these issues are well known to specialists and the BMW community, with a good number of guides on how to fix the issues if you fancy tackling them yourself. The Haynes manual for the X3 includes some of the ways to help detect if some of these are reaching failure points. Next up is the 3-litre diesel, which is generally considered more robust, whilst also being able to return good fuel economy. Early models get the M57 motor with slightly less power, with the first few production models rated at 201 brake horsepower, and then during 2004 the power is increased to 215 brake horsepower. These are badged 3-litre D or 30D. From 2007 onwards, an additional model brings a 282 brake horsepower version of the motor, badged 35D. Expect around 33 miles per gallon or 8.56 litres per 100 kilometres. These are commonly seen with mileages in excess of 150,000 miles, but will need some care along the way. Swirl flaps and EGR valves are two common areas to cause an issue. After 100,000 miles, you should budget for new engine mounts and get the existing ones inspected. Onto the petrol engines, and there are three options, with a 4-cylinder 2-litre starting off the range, a 2.5 litre straight 6 and then a 3-litre straight 6. It should be noted that BMW released a technical service bulletin coded SIB 130107 for the X3, fitted with a 2.5 or 3 litre for engine deposits at the tip of the fuel injectors, which affected the flow and caused poor running, high emissions. Carbon deposits were also found to affect the intake manifold due to fuel absorption as the vehicle ran up to temperature on cold starts. Any sign of poor running, or if you fail a yearly inspection due to emissions, may lead to these areas being best to check first. The 2-litre was available from launch in most markets and continued with the same 148 brake horsepower throughout the lifespan of the X3. averaging 30.4 miles per gallon or 9.29 litres per 100 kilometres, and available with or without X-Drive. These weren't particularly popular when new, but have become a bit more expensive recently as emissions regulations favour older petrol cars than diesels. A couple of key areas to look out for on the 2 litre is high oil consumption. Look out for any signs of old oil cans if buying privately, and ask an owner what sort of servicing schedule they have stuck to for oil changes. Vanos solenoid failures can lead to vibrations from the engine and should be felt on a test drive, and any rattling noise is likely caused by timing chain guides. The guides are made of plastic and well known to fail, so if an owner has a record of them being changed, take it as a positive buying sign. Finally, the coolant pipe should be checked. The plastic construction can begin to fail with age, leaking coolant. Check the level as best you can, and after a test drive look for any signs of water or damp spots around the pipework. The 2.5 litre is initially badged as 2.5i until 2007, when it is badged as 2.5 SI. There is a power increase from 189 brake horsepower to 215 brake horsepower, and fuel economy increases from 23.7 to 29.8 miles per gallon, that's 11.92 to 9.48 litres per 100 kilometres. These are fairly durable and capable motors, preferred by those that don't mind sacrificing some fuel economy for higher reliability. Look out for any oil leaks around the motors, especially towards the top of the engine, and coolant leaks around the thermostat housing. Vanos units are susceptible to failure as with any BMW engine of this age, and so check history to see if any previous work has been done. If it has, then there aren't many other potentially large bills aside from the larger maintenance schedule items and wear parts like the clutch and flywheel. If looking at a later 2.5 model badged 2.5 SI, it should be noticed that BMW revised the exhaust valve lifters and phased them into production from October 2008, with the new part fitted to all produced after the end of November 2008. This was due to a ticking and rattling noise when cold. The replacement part number for affected vehicles is 11337605330. Finally, there is the 3 litre fitted to the 3 litre I and 3 litre SI models. Early ones have 228 brake horsepower, while 2007 model year onwards with the 3 litre SI or X-Drive 30i badge have 268 brake horsepower. Average fuel economy is 23.3 miles per gallon or 12.12 litres per 100 kilometres. Look out for any history of the high pressure fuel pump being replaced, as we found that this part along with the coils were most commonly reported among owners. Once again, Vanos failure is widely reported. These engines also need to be serviced on time and with the correct parts according to BMW specifications if you're hoping to keep it long term, with some owners reaching nearly 200,000 miles without need for major internal engine work, but as with most engines, maintenance is the key to longevity. For our picks, we would go for an early 2.5i model if on a lower budget, or a well kept later 35D model on a higher budget. Don't forget to check out our other guides and consider subscribing, but for now, all the best with your car search.